Well, welcome back to the second Huddle UK episode of the week. We covered the NFC Championship game yesterday. If you didn't catch that episode, it's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube, or you can find all the podcasts at HuddleUK.com. So go check out that one, NFC Championship game, Seahawks Rams, of course, where we had Mitch and Matt on to represent their two teams. Today, we're turning to the focus to the conference where myself and Jake, our teams preside.
Didn't make it.
Yeah, we didn't make it. We got to the playoffs, but we didn't get any further. So, of course, we're going to be looking at the Broncos against the Patriots. The first game, the 8 o'clock kickoff on Sunday. We've got guests who I'll introduce very shortly, just as I do at the top of every episode. Please make sure if you're listening to this to click subscribe, follow, whatever it is, wherever you may be. As I said, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, the home of this Huddle UK podcast. I'm the host, Philip Marsh. Jake joins me as is accustomed every week now. And Jake, you touched upon it. Yeah, you touched upon it there. My team got knocked out in the wildcard round for the Patriots, and the other team that are into the conference championship, the Broncos, beat your team last week, the Buffalo Bills. We're going to get into the controversies when we get joined by Mark in a little bit, but just how frustrating. I know you've got a big article up on the website about the Sean McDermott, Brandon Beane situation. So what's just your reflections on the season as an end for the Buffalo Bills?
Well, I think I messaged you earlier on in the week to say, about week 4, I was probably at my kind of pinnacle of optimism. I even put out a little article saying maybe we could go undefeated. So that aged like sour milk. I think for me, I realized as the season went on that it wasn't really going to happen and that there was going to be this finality to it that wasn't going to be a Super Bowl. We just haven't been as good as previous seasons. It really feels like last season was probably it. Last season we were really arguably the best team in the league in places, maybe the Eagles aside, as it would have been. I'm not saying we would have beaten the Eagles in that Super Bowl. It felt like this season we kind of came into it and we cooled off a little bit. Injuries really piled up. So I will say that the best way to get over a devastating playoff loss is for your owner and kind of surrounding kind of hierarchy to just go completely mad and make it an entertaining week. But it's been mixed emotions.
It's going to be interesting moving forward to see who the Buffalo Bills get in. A lot of the people they've been linked with are people who are still coaching in the playoffs in this game that we'll get into, and on the other side in the NFC as well. Kubiak, we mentioned yesterday, is one of those names I think quite high up on your list. Other than the Broncos game, obviously at overtime, we had the dramatic catch, the pass interference call, but the Broncos came out winners at Mile High. The other game was the turnover bowl between the Texans and the Patriots. It looked like at times that neither team wanted to win that game, but the Patriots were definitely the better team in that game, as much as I love the Texans defense. And I think Will Anderson Jr. is one of the best players on defense in the entire league. He had another great game. But CJ Stroud, I don't know. We'll get into more CJ Stroud in a minute. But do you think, if we flash back 12 months, 18 months, the Bryce Young, CJ Stroud debate wasn't even a debate. It was that CJ Stroud was the better pick, and that's that.
Yeah.
I think that is very much in question now. If not, majority might lean towards Bryce Young now.
So I've got an interesting concept for you here, right? What do you say to, if you're either team, swapping quarterbacks and just saying, we got this wrong. CJ, we want you to go behind what is ultimately a better offensive line in Carolina. They've got a solid run game. Dave Canales can, he whispered Bryce, into a better shape. And you go, we've seen flashes, but CJ, you need to regain your confidence. He just doesn't have confidence in his surrounding cast. So I think that would really work for the Panthers. And then, okay, what's the benefit for the Texans taking Bryce Young? Well, Bryce has this weird, kind of scenario where he'll just go nuclear. He'll be very average, and then and that's really what they could have done with in this playoff game. We saw him go nuclear against the Rams in the playoff game and nearly cause an upset that really nobody, including Vegas, saw coming. So I think I would love to just see that. Just be like, sorry about this, chaps, but we got this wrong. Do you fancy a little house swap? I think that would work out.
I'd be very surprised if any Panthers fans listening would agree to that swap. I think most Panthers fans are very on the Bryce train now,
They're
and
on it now.
I like Bryce Young. He's had his awful games. He's very funny in the way that one week he can look like a top 10 quarterback, absolute down the stretch fourth quarter would trust him with my life quarterback, and then the next week can't hit an open receiver to save his life. It's very, very strange. But yeah, CJ Stroud and the Texans dumped out Buffalo Bills, dumped out leaving two, the Broncos and the Patriots, the Jared Stidham Broncos and the softest schedule Patriots. As we said yesterday, the NFC Championship game on paper looks a bit more enticing than this game, but we've got two people joining the Huddle UK podcast now who I'm sure are going to say otherwise. We've got Mark Tonge coming back on, who the founder of Broncos Europe, for I think the fifth or sixth time joining the podcast, and we've got Chudders coming on from the Pats Procrastination. We've had Claire on, his co-host, before, and we've thought we'd complete the lineup of the Pats Procrastination hosts. So Chudders joining us now as well, and let's get into it. Let's see which team we think and they think is going to go to the Super Bowl. So joining us to represent the teams this week, of course, the Broncos and the Patriots. A welcome return to the Huddle UK podcast for Mark Tonge from Broncos Europe. Mark, you doing well, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you, Jens, for, once again, having me on the show. I'm becoming a series regular, I think.
You have, well, if the Broncos keep doing well, we still need Broncos voices. So, I mean, from your point of view, long may it continue. And a Huddle UK debut for Chudders, or Ben Chudley. Chudders, how you doing, mate?
I'm doing well, thank you. It's just a shame this is Mark's last appearance of the season, that's all.
Oh, see, the fighting talk started already.
That's how we like to start it. Good start as we move to God. And Chudders, you do, if you're a long-term listener to the Huddle UK podcast, you'll have seen we've had Claire Cooper on before from Pats Procrastination. That's your show with Claire, isn't it, Chudders?
Correct, yeah, no, she's the leader of that army.
I know she's a big fan of the tight ends, isn't she? That's what I mean. Whenever
just a bit.
Yeah,
a bit. Yeah, she likes tight ends and she cannot lie.
Waxes lyrical about Hunter Henry every time I chat to her. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's get into the nitty gritty of this game, because I don't mean any disrespect to your two teams. We did the NFC chat yesterday. That came out on Friday. This comes out on Saturday. And the NFC game, looking at it on paper, Seahawks Rams, gets me really excited. This game doesn't. And that's, for your guys, for your teams, obviously really exciting, and I totally get that. Mark, I'll start with you. You guys are I mean, I don't know if you'd have been the underdog full strength, but the first time you came on the podcast a year ago, we played a game, didn't we? Bo Nix or no Nix. Now you just have no Nix. There's no options.
Yeah, it's not a great game to play anymore for me.
No, it's not a good game. You just have no Nix. Instead, you have Jared Stidham. I was looking at some facts about him. He's going to become the first quarterback since 2020 to start his first game of the season in the playoffs. How was your emotions after that game against the Bills? Sorry, Jake, I know we'll bring up the Bills because Jake's a Bills fan, but
It's going to happen.
you go from that elation to, I think it was about 10 minutes later, wasn't it? Sean Payton just walked back out and was like, he's done.
You see, most of Broncos country had that 10 minutes. I had a good full 8 hours of sleep before I actually realised that Nix had broke his ankle. And when my friend had texted me in the morning, I thought he was joking with me, just to mess around my head. No, he's broken his ankle and is out. So, it was, at least I had my 8 hours of happiness in my sleep. I'd gone to bed, I was happy. But yeah, elation that night, that last second field goal, after the controversial play with McMillan intercepting the ball, clear intercepting in my eyes. But it would be. I'm getting stared out here by Jake.
No. Just Phil is not. He's not opened Pandora's box on this one, so I'm keeping very, very stump.
But I want to open it because this is the time to do this conversation. Like, if you weren't a Broncos fan, Mark, if you ignore all the bias and all of that, where do you land on it?
Oh, if it happened against me, I would have been fuming. Yeah, I think what they would have called on the field stays. The angle that they showed on the broadcast didn't prove anything. So if they'd have called it a completed catch, then I'd have gone with it. I'd have been annoyed, but either way, that's football, isn't it?
And Jake, obviously you have your bias as well, and I know you've sort of back and forthed on this, haven't you? On which way you stand.
I came in hot, is what you're saying. I messaged the group to say that was a catch. No one can convince me otherwise within seconds of it happening. but I sit here today with a very different approach. I think if you take it all away, if you take away McMillan from the entire situation, so it's not an inception. If Brandon Cooks catches that ball for whatever duration he does, and whatever movement, when I say catch, I mean just puts a paw on it. He hits the ground, that ball pops up and pops out. That is never being called a catch. Never in a month Sunday is that being called a catch. So the fact that it ends up in the hands of the receiver, I know there's contact involved as well, but no, I have come round to the sheer fact that I would be livid if that happened against me as a Bills fan. Indeed, I think the problem is that there's inconsistencies, right? And there's Xavier Worthy last season against the Bills when I was livid. So it would be nice to fall on the right side of a debatable decision at some point. But no, I had other issues with other calls in that game.
Even as a Patriots fan who was quite happy to see the Bills lose, I thought when it got to overtime, the calls, having let so much go through the game, the calls that then came up, that I felt a bit harsh even for Bills, to be fair.
It felt like the referees had planned for something after the game, and that the fact that it went to overtime and they're like, oh, it's cool, someone will score a touchdown. No, we're on drive 3, chaps, and we've got that dinner reservation. We need to give this a little helping hand. An extra 54 yards of penalties will help do that. So,
it did help. So I was delighted with
it really did. And I do have to say, I'm still, Joey Bosa got away with one, because that is the dumbest penalty I think I've seen in maybe since who was the player that went offside, allowing Patrick Mahomes basically a freebie?
The Pats AFC Championship, where I can't remember who it was, but they went offside when it would have been an interception.
Yes, I think so. I can't remember the player's name.
And Pats got it back. It would have been an interception and the game, basically.
You know who it was? It was D Ford. D Ford offside is what caused it. But effectively, it was the dumbest penalty. So it didn't really matter. But no, I am at peace with the interception come pass of it all. And as I wrote in my article, no disrespect to Brandon Cooks, but we were relying on Brandon Cooks in that moment, and we arguably shouldn't have been. So there's a lot more behind that than meets the eye.
Yeah, we'll have a proper Bills debrief or all the team's season debrief. And while Mark's team knocked out Jake's team, Chudders, your team knocked out my team, granted 2 weeks ago in the wildcard round, not in the divisional round. And I think if I'm a Patriots fan, the thing that I'm most pleased about right now is going into the playoffs. People were talking about the Broncos, the Texans, and the Chargers as these sort of like elite defenses, and the Seahawks. And people were looking at the Patriots going, they're the highest scoring team in the AFC. Drake May. Or Drake May, as it is. But it's been the Patriots defense, which has been sort of the most clutch part of the playoffs for you guys so far. That must be so exciting when you've got both sides of the ball playing together.
It is, and it's strange because they've been playing well. Now, without wanting to insult you, I think the Pats' defense has been slightly flattered by some incredibly poor offensive play, and particularly quarterback play, in the 2 games, the wildcard game, divisional game so far. And it means you come away, we're now 2 games in, we've only given up 1 touchdown, and that's on following a turnover, and they've only had to go 24 yards, I think, to get that touchdown. Defense has been playing really, really well. Strangely, and likewise, the offense, which has been playing very well throughout the season, has now not played as well, not played as strongly in the postseason. However, we're in a weird situation, and I don't mean this too insulting to Mark and his team. We could almost play that same game this weekend and possibly get away with it for a 3rd time because of where we get. Now, you've got a really strong defense. I'm trying to throw too much shade, but they've managed to find ways to get enough points, restrict the opposition, which I think will be the game plan again this weekend. And they don't even, you're not looking at it going, right, if you'd had Bo Nix, you'd be thinking, right, this could be a shootout. We have to get big points on the board. Whereas now you'd be thinking, well, actually, maybe you'd say 4th and 2 on the 30-yard line. Actually, you know what? We'll take the 3 because 3 might be enough here. Do that 2-3 times and touchdown at some point. That might be enough for us to win the game.
So you're not backing Jarrett Stidham. He's got to be better than CJ Stroud was last week, hasn't he?
I think
He probably genuinely should be.
CJ
Because
Stroud
was awful.
in those 2 playoff games against the Steelers and against the Pats. I saw Texans fans go, "This guy just wants to get to Cancun." I quite like CJ Stroud, but those 2 playoff games, holy smokes, they were the worst 2 games I think he's played in his career, and he got through the first one because the Texans' defense is so good. And and I agree with you, Chudders, and what you were saying with the quarterback play in the 2 games, but CJ Stroud, I don't know. I mean, his offensive line's not great. Justin Herbert was pressured on 30 of 31 passing plays, which is just a level beyond any comprehension, really. So people call Justin Herbert the if man, and I am going to go to war for my guy. If you're pressured on 97% of dropbacks, you're never going to win a game of football.
It's always glorious to watch, isn't it? Watching Justin Herbert get pressured, though.
Is it? Yeah, it's lovely. Thanks, Mark. Yeah.
The thing I'd say to that is, though, you've had your O-line destroyed this season. Again, and the Patriots' pass rush has been great up the middle with Barmore and Milton. On the edges, it's not actually been as strong. We're hoping for maybe a bit more out of Landry. He's been injured for a bit. It's not because we've got an exceptional pass rush. Like, you look at what the Texans had last week. Anderson, particularly on the left side, was just ploughing through every time he wanted. Is that showing more about your O-line than the strength of our D-line, to be fair?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, Bradley Bozeman, he will always have a special place in my heart. Last year, he got tackled. Justin Herbert got, ankle rolled after the play by Nathan Shepard of the Saints, and Bozeman just went flying in, lamping him. And I was like, that's my center, defend my quarterback. And then I watched him play football, and if he plays another snap for the Chargers, I'll cry. So thank you, Bradley. You're a top bloke, but get out of Los Angeles, please. Mark, Jarrett Stidham, you've joked about it. That is the big talking point going into this game. Obviously, I'll hand it out to everyone. I said he's the first quarterback to make his first start of the season since 2020 in the playoffs. Anyone know who the last one was? It was an NFC playoff game, and he scored a touchdown. He was on the Chargers to start the year.
Oh, is it Taylor Heineke?
Taylor Heineke's the correct answer. Yeah, Taylor Heineke. When he came on for the Commanders and dove over in the corner.
Well, I mean, he nearly stopped Brady, didn't he? Like, that was he separated his shoulder. It was like, how much effort do you have to put in to stop Brady getting his 7th ring? Well, you need to tear your body limb from limb in Taylor Heineke's part.
Well, he was useless for us, but that was the stat. Mark, you can't be confident. I want to ask if you're confident in Jarrett Stidham, but you can't be, surely.
It's a strange one, because obviously I'm surrounded by all these Denver media, all of over my socials and whatever. And that you should see Broncos Country Twitter right now. Everyone has Jarrett Stidham as the profile picture. So anything that we put out on Broncos Europe, anything like that, and people like it, it's just Jarrett Stidham is liking everything. You can't tell who's who. So this weird, strange confidence is flowing through Broncos Country right now. We can rely on the defense. We know it's good enough. It needs to step up from what it has been. We've got one of the best O-lines in football. Granted, Bo Nix helps that because he's so good at avoiding sacks. So there's probably going to be a bit of a downgrade there. Bo Nix is sneakily good with his legs. Jarrett Stidham was, when he came out of high school, this is a long time ago, but was the number 1 dual threat quarterback coming out of high school. He's got a pretty good deep arm. The 2 starts he's played for when he was at the Raiders, he came in against the 49ers, which was the best defense in football at the time. He absolutely tore them apart. I think he had 379 yards, a couple of touchdowns, and he just rinsed through them. And I think he's done it again to one of the top defenses in for his other team. But yeah, the strange confidence is with us. I think that what will help him is we don't know if he's going to play yet, but J.K. Dobbins is on the path to coming back. What level he can play for us this weekend, I'm not sure, but he was a limited participation in training yesterday. So if we can lean on the run a bit more, not make it all about Jarrett Stidham, but yeah, I'm quietly confident. I'll probably eat my words when we get to it, but we're going to ride this train all season long. So
I've got a question for you, Mark, and to be honest, actually, all 3 of you can chime in on this. So, of the active passing leaders in the NFL at the moment, including playoffs, where do we think Jarrett Stidham ranks out of all active quarterbacks?
Ranked on what? Yards?
Yes, yeah. So, passing yards leader. So, just where do we think he ranks?
All time?
No. Yeah. So this is for his career. or forever in his career. So Aaron Rodgers is on 72,000 as a good barometer.
Oh, right. Oh, God.
But he's got to be 32, surely.
I can tell you there are 98 active quarterbacks.
Okay, so we're not just talking 32.
I reckon he's 95th.
Chudders?
74.
I'll say 68.
You know what? Phil, take a hike because these two are much, much closer. He's 71. So Jarrett Stidham has 1,422 passing yards for his career, which squarely puts him in between JJ McCarthy and Shadur Sanders. So
Good company.
that's some bold. I mean, Mark, you're talking about the confidence the Broncos have got in them. Like Stidham could do with some Sanders, JJ sort of confidence right now in himself. Because if both of those two were going into this game, we would know about it.
When he throws for 350 yards this weekend, where will that put him? Oh, it's got a big jump, hasn't it?
71.
He'll jump JJ McCarthy if he can pass for 463 yards. He'll jump Brandon Allen. So yeah, this is the heady days.
Yeah, light work, easy. I think at 500 yards minimum for Stidham is on the cards. Chudders, when you heard this, did you have any PTSD from the whole Nick Foles backup quarterback situation? Because I saw a video on YouTube of like sort of a satirical NFL content creator basically being Sean Payton going, the only way the Patriots lose in the postseason is against old vets or backups. And it does strike me as a very similar sort of mold as that Nick Foles game.
Did everyone see Nick Foles absolutely throwing shade, by the way, against the Patriots?
I did see this. Yeah,
he did. Yeah, he tweeted, didn't he? Yeah. I wouldn't say I'm as worried. I probably should be more. I would say in defense of the Broncos, the maybe fear is the wrong word, but the caution I have is I have a lot of respect for Sean Payton and what he's going to cook up this week, his schemes, his sequencing. I expect him to certainly those first 15 plus plays, he's really going to know the strengths of how to get the most. Now, the question is, can Stidham then execute whatever he cooks up? And that's where it could be more of a challenge. Now, one of the keys, I think, to this game, certainly from a Pats side, normally when you get the championship game and you empty the playbook, whatever you got to do to make sure you get through to the next round, get the Super Bowl, empty playbook. I want the opposite for the Pats. I think the only way they're going to lose this game is through turnovers. And to be fair, they had quite a few last week. They can't do that this week. So play safe. A lot of run game, a lot of short passes. Do not cough that ball up. And then likewise, I would think if I was a Broncos fan, you're going to have to empty the playbook. You maybe some trickeration, double passes, flea flickers. Like, you're going to have to do anything you can, absolutely, to try and confuse that Pats defense. Just get some yards, get a drive going any way you can. But I do think Sean Payton has the quality to be able to do that. So hopefully the Pats can counter.
Having talked about Tyler Heineke and now Nick Foles and against the Patriots, I'm putting the house on a Jarrett Stidham touchdown any time. I think that has to be the bet now. Some Broncos special trick play.
We spoke recently about this, Phil, that Jarrett Stidham is 19-1 as Super Bowl MVP. Now, there is a world where that is like that is possible. It's possible. Like, he only needs to get there. And then it's very much on the cards. So he doesn't have to deserve to get there. He just has to get there. So yeah, I'm all in on whatever weird concoction of bets and parlays. Just roll that dice, because you wouldn't have got this if Bo Nix was playing.
No, definitely
no, it'd have been much shorter odds. And you know me, Jake. Since February, I've had a bet on the Super Bowl being the Broncos against the Rams, and it's the best Super Bowl bet I've ever put on because we're here, one game to go on both sides, and that bet is still well and truly live. Although I think if I have to put my money where my mouth is now, I'd pick Patriots Seahawks, which is quite annoying. But we'll never know. Mark, if you guys do win on Sunday, which of the other two teams would you prefer to face?
The Seahawks. I think we all know that Darnold there he's got the injury, hasn't he? So he's one play away from getting absolutely obliterated, and we'll be there. And then it'll be a Jarrett Stidham Drew Lock Super Bowl. So
Revenge
it's what
game.
dreams are made of. It's what everyone
Revenge
wants
game for
as well.
Drew Lock. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't want to. The Rams are the Rams, and they're a scary team to face, I think.
Fair enough.
They're
And
probably the
Chudders,
best
the
team left.
same for you?
You've put forward a very good argument there about Darnold, and you think at some point he's going to be turned back into a pumpkin, surely at midnight, and it'll just happen. It happened last year with the Vikings. To be kind of romantic, I wouldn't mind it if it was Pats Rams, and then you've got Stafford versus May MVP candidates. I'm not sure if you agree with that or not, but certainly in the Pats world, that's the way it's been talked up. And who can win it in a shootout? I also think the way the Seahawks play last week, if they play like that this week and they win, maybe not quite as big, but they win convincingly. And let's say, to be honest, whoever comes in out of our game, I don't think it's necessarily going to be a light up, entertaining game. Maybe it will be. Hopefully it will be. But if someone drags their carcass through to the Super Bowl, whoever that is going to be an underdog heavily, potentially, against the Seahawks. So that's where I think, a Rams-Patriots game, I could take that in the Super Bowl.
Both the teams on the other side are waiting to play you for revenge. We had Mitch and Matt on yesterday going, Patriots in the Super Bowl. Let's have them. Because Mitch, who we had on from the 12 Talk podcast, the Seahawks podcast, said the first proper Super Bowl he watched was the Marshawn Lynch Patriots Seahawks one. And
Run it on the goal line.
Yeah, and he had a group of mates that said you have to support the team that won, and he just fell in love with the Seahawks and he's stuck with watching the losing team instead. So he was like, there was quite a romantic, let's, get one back on them in the Super Bowl there. Go on.
Can I just say, Phil, do we not realise that we are so close to that happening again, in so much as the Seahawks and the Patriots make it to the final? Can you not foresee a situation where Mike McDonald has a potential game-winning touchdown on the line and he looks to his left and Zach Charbonnet has got his foot in a boot or whatever he's got on, and he's going, "You are my goal line back," and he looks at his 5'9" Kenneth Walker and he goes, He looks at his oblique injured Sam Darnold and he goes, yeah, screw it, let's do it. And then Christian Gonzalez picks him off.
Yeah,
are we not like the NFL script writers have done it again? They've just gone, actually, let's ask AI, and AI have regurgitated the old script. So it's going to happen. I'm telling you now.
It's one of the best moments if you ignore bias and who you support. It's one of those moments in NFL history where if you have to say, what are the most dramatic moments, that just encapsulate everything that was great in sport. The reaction of Richard Sherman on the sidelines, it's like a penalty shootout for me in football, where you on the field, you see the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows all in one moment. It was cinema, that was.
To be fair, that whole Super Bowl was back and forth. Pats down by 10 in the fourth quarter. At that time, that was the largest deficit to return from. In some ways, that was a better Super Bowl than the 28-3 Falcons.
Just drop that one in. At the time, it was the largest one. We
I can't say it was because it's pretty obvious what happened after that. But that whole Super Bowl was back and forth and great. And to be fair, whichever way that had ended, if he'd had smashed it in, it would have been the same. It would have still have been a great game. I would have been the heartbroken one, but that was a very good Super Bowl, actually, to be fair, especially with the miracle catch that had happened just before that, where it bounced off his leg, his stomach, his helmet, and then Christian Kirst was it that caught it in the corner.
I will give Mark you some, I've said that I think the Patriots will win this, but I will give you some words of motivation because historically, this is a game that the Broncos do well in. The Broncos have the best record in conference championships game. They've won 8 of the 10 they've been in. The Patriots have won the most conference championship games of any team, tied with the Green Bay Packers with 11. But the Broncos are 4-1 against the Patriots in the postseason, including home wins in the conference championship in 2013 and 2015. So it's not too long ago where, we've seen this game. Sorry?
We're 3-0 against Patriots at Mile High, aren't we?
Mile High.
So, and from the last game, it was loud. All the footage that they showed, it was very you saw Josh Allen have to change his helmet, didn't he, in the first couple of plays, just so he could hear. I expect it to be even louder. Sean Payton has taken over the big play board, with the Jumbotron, whatever it is. He said, don't play any games on there. We just want it to be noise constantly when they're in the huddle. And yeah, I would put that, it goes in our favour. It's another thing. Say we're playing at, Foxborough there. We don't really stand as much of a chance, but playing at home, it does lift our chances in the game.
And you guys have got the earlier game on the Sunday. I think it's an 8:00 kickoff around that time over here in the UK. What are you doing for it, Chudders? Are you going out? Are you got people around? I can see your Patriots shrine in your room there.
No, I'll be watching at home. My lad, who's a big Pats fan as well, will be watching the game here for certain. It's I'd agree. The history shows that the Broncos have fared far better. They've had it over the Pats. I think one good thing that Vrabel started off when he first, and how weird is it that he's now the longest serving head coach in the AFC East as well? How ridiculous that is. But when he first joined the Pats last year, he said he was going to remove entitlement, and he's done that through various different little aspects going. And I think that's one of the confident things I've taken this week, is that with the injury and with the press, with the betting odds, with everything pointing that, oh yeah, the Pats should win, I don't think he's not taking anything for granted. There's no entitlement, oh, you're already in that Super Bowl. They're going to come out fighting, knowing they have to earn it to get there. There isn't going to be that complacency at all. And they've been 8-0 on the road this season, Pats. They've dominated on the road. The only 3 they've lost have been at home. So I know what you're saying about rather if you'd been in Foxborough, it would have been far trickier. But in some ways, I don't mind going on the road. I think the team like that. It's more of a challenge going to Mile High for any team because of the air, because everything else. Like you say, you're loud. Apparently, you've not sold any tickets to Pats fans because you've restricted the postcodes that are allowed to buy tickets and all this. That just means it's going to be empty in the third quarter, that's all.
Yeah, so yes.
Jarrett Stidham's going to be doing his fourth quarter comeback in front of no fans. Yeah,
I mean, I love all of that. They've actually denied Patriots fan tickets. Wicked. I mean,
so
that's
they're
what
only
you
selling
gotta do.
tickets to the mountain, the Rocky Mountain area.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fair
One
play.
thing I do want to throw out there is, I think we're missing an opportunity. Really, I think what I really want is Mike Vrabel to trot out Drake May to start this game, take one snap, and then be like, actually, Josh Dobbs, in you go.
Oh, God,
and let's just
no.
have a backup bowl, because that would be, the Broncos are massive underdogs at the moment. Like, everybody's talking Stidham this, Stidham that. And then suddenly you roll the Pastronaut out there and you go, oh, really? Like, suddenly all those Broncos players are going to be like, what? Like, we've prepped for May. Like, I would love
You know
to
what?
see
I'm
that.
so up for that as well. I'm
sure you
up for
will
that. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, we could have that for the first half. If in the second half, you can have Peyton Manning back and we're allowed Vrabel on as linebacker again, and we'll see how that goes.
God, I don't. Peyton Manning's pace will be even lower than usual.
Well, gents, best of luck to your team. Mark, where are you watching the game? Sorry, I didn't catch.
I am doing exactly the same as I did last week. Or everything has to be the same. I'm not moving from my couch. Same thing, same everything. I've not changed since, so all good.
same socks, lucky socks,
Yeah,
lucky everything. Yeah, fair play.
Not same quarterback, though.
Not the same quarterback, no. Yeah,
Just,
and what I do like is actually, I wasn't meant to be on this podcast today, so I like the fact that you've gone all Broncos in this and you've gone for the backup, which is me. So it's good.
Yes, that's very true. Yes, it's
Well, technically, I'm even further down that pecking list.
then you should be Josh Dobbs. It's decided. We need the backup bowl here. Finally, before we go, Mark, the home team will start with you. Score prediction and just how you think the game will go as a whole.
Score prediction. I'm backing the boys, aren't I? I'm backing the Broncos, of course. Jarrett Stidham, light it up. We're going to go 28-17. I don't think it'll be as close as it won't be close either way. If the Patriots win, it won't be close. If the Broncos win, I don't think it'll be close. We need the defense to come out fighting. I expect us to, if Dobbins plays, I've said I expect us to run the ball a lot more than we would. I think it'll be a fairly quick game on that account. But yeah, I'll 28-17.
28-17, brave. And Chudders, your counter.
I'd be taking the Pats with the points 5.5 and the under 42.5 in total points. I think it's going to be low scoring. I agree. It's going to be a short game. I think there's going to be a lot of run game from both sides. But I'm going to go 24-10 to the Pats.
24-10. So both of you are backing your teams to win by more than one score. That's the exact opposite of what we had yesterday's episodes in the NFC, where they were like a field goal might separate it at the end. Jake, as we did yesterday as well, which way are you leaning in this one?
Yeah, I'm leaning Patriots. I think.
No, he's
I
just
think-
salty from last week, isn't he? That's all it is.
Look, Chudders came at me there with the Sean McDermott's no longer in Buffalo jibe, and I let it sail. So the fact that I'm still back in his team is a miracle, frankly. I'm going with the Patriots. I don't think it's going to be high scoring. I think the Patriots will be in control for the majority of the game, but I do think it will be close. So I don't think they're ever going to get up by more than 2 scores. Well, yeah, more than like a score and a half potentially. But I do think I have concerns about Drake May against a really solid defense away from home. He's not played much. He went to a small school. He's not played big playoff games in his short kind of footballing career. And I think that we're starting to see that creep in.
Easier
and-
strength of schedule as well, all season.
I haven't even mentioned the schedule.
fair.
I've been kind. So, yeah. So I do think the Patriots will do it, but I think it'll be, they'll get over the line.
And I'm going to say that it's going to be overtime and the referees will give it to the Broncos again.
I'll take it. We'll take it.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, there would be no complaints, would there? Gents, thank you both very much for coming on. Chudders, before you go, where can people find Pats Procrastination?
Pats Procrastination on the Pats Propaganda YouTube channel.
And Mark, Broncos Europe. Oh, you're everywhere, aren't you?
We're on everything we can try and get our hands on. But yeah, thank you very much for having us on, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
Yeah, we'll hopefully have one of you back.
Oh, you're doing the Pro Bowl coverage, you?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
doing the Pro
wonderful.
Bowl after
Oh,
you get
good. We will get to
involved.
see
Yeah,
you.
yeah, it's all good.
Oh, there's been far much more needle today. Gents, thank you very much. Good luck to your teams. And hopefully we'll chat to one of you who that will be next week. Well, thank you to Mark. Thank you to Chudders for joining us. No quiz at the end of this one. If you want to see mine and Jake's head-to-head on the Final Four draft battle, go check out the end of yesterday's episode. Jake probably coming in for a bit of heat for his team. Do you have any words to defend yourself on today's episode, Jake?
No regrets. Just
No regrets.
I'll let the numbers and the players play it out. Come back with your receipt later, because we will see. I will prove people wrong.
Interesting. I like the confidence. So 2 episodes. Thank you for joining us this week. Jake's predictions would see a Patriots and a Seahawks Super Bowl. Still feeling confident of that prediction?
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. I will be rooting for the Seahawks in that instance. I don't look particularly good in kind of lime green, but there you go. I do. I am confident on that one.
Do you have much lime green?
I don't have much Seahawk green, no. So, not something I've been collecting. So,
Got a whole wardrobe of lime green clothes to whip out for the Super Bowl. No, not you. I've gone for a Seahawks, Broncos. I'm going Broncos, as I've said many times, because I'm stubborn, and that's been my prediction all along. I think that's a heart over head pick. I think.
but you're
if I
not
was
sticking with the
listening to my head.
Rams.
I'm not sticking with the Rams because the Seahawks have impressed me so much this year.
Right.
But hey, if my 100-to-1 bet from the start of the season comes off, I will be delighted and running up and down the streets of South Wales. You'll find me there. You'll find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and the HuddleUK website. Please remember to subscribe. Ring the bell for all the updates on YouTube. I've been the host, Philip Marsh. As always, we'll be back for some Pro Bowl stuff next week, and then the big one the week after that, the Super Bowl. We'll catch you then.